Hello students, so we'll be talking about digestion process. So in previous video we talked about the organs involved in alimentary canal and glands, also associated glands, but now we'll be talking about the digestion process and how food is being digested in each and every part of the alimentary canal. So basically what we are trying to do is we are trying to break down the nutrients into simple soluble form so that they can be easily absorbed by the body and used by the body. So which all are there, like carbohydrate, protein, fat, all these are there, right? So now we want, they are big macromolecules, and we want them to be into certain into small molecular form and such form that can be absorbed by the body. So how does it start? First of all, in buccal cavity, um, in buccal cavity, first of all, mastication take place. That means the tongue and teeth help in chewing and mixing of the food, and the masticated food turns into bolus, right? Turns into bolus form. Then after that, bolus is passed into, this passes into esophagus, and that process is known as deglutition or swallowing, simply swallowing. Then in this here only, the salivary amylase is breaking down the carbohydrate, plus lysozymes are killing the microbes. So the carbohydrate is being digested by amylase, which is because it is in saliva, so salivary amylase, and microbes are worked upon and killed by lysozyme present in the saliva, right? So these two basically work. Salivary amylase converts starch into simple maltose form, disaccharides, right? And which gets further digested. Okay, then we are now buccal cavity, and then food has moved to the esophagus in the form of bolus and after deglutition. Now in the mucosa of, in the stomach, what is happening? The mucosa layer, which is the innermost layer, has three types of cells. What are those three types of cells? Mucus neck cell, which is producing the mucus for the lubrication and protection for the inner lining from HCl, oxantic cell, which is producing HCl. Now these oxantic cells are, or oxantic cells are basically producing HCl, and from them the mucus is trying to protect the inner lining. And then there is peptic cells, which is producing pepsinogen. Now this pepsinogen gets activated once it is worked upon, once the acidic environment gets is there, and acidic environment creates the pepsinogen into pepsin, right? So now the food mixes with the gastric juice. Food mixes with the gastric juices. The gastric juice is having all these three enzymes, all these three different types of cells, and they are forming what? Chyme. This acidic environment plus all the mixture of all these cells is basically producing the acidic environment, right? Now once this gets done, now pepsinogen gets converted into pepsin and converts protein into peptone and proteose. right? Peptone and proteose, which are much simpler form than protein. Protein is a polypeptide, but it is much simpler form than protein, peptone and proteose, right? Then also there is the presence of bicarbonate ion, which basically helps in balancing or buffering. There has a role in buffering and balancing, right? Okay. There is one more enzyme which is there in the stomach, which is being produced, and there is intrinsic factor. Now, two more things I am adding. One is renin, which is in the form of prorenin, that means in the form of inactive form, and that gets activated into renin, and this renin basically works on the milk proteins, and they are found a lot in the small kids, infants, because they have their food is milk only, so they work on milk protein, which is casein, and breaks it down. As we grow up, the renin production gets lowers down, and we basically are not able to easily digest the milk protein, right? So we are being asked to have some other substitute other than milk, like to have milk protein, or to have the content and nutrients of the milk, we need to have some other substitute like curd or paneer or something like that. So this one, and there is one more, is intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor, right? Now this intrinsic factor basically helps in absorption of vitamin B12, right? For the absorption of vitamin B12, we need intrinsic factor, right? So then we'll move to pancreas. Now in pancreas, what all is being secreted? I'll also show you the equations, how they basically do all this process. So from pancreas, what is being secreted? Now the role of glands come, and there is intestinal juice. So from the glands, now what glands we are talking about? We are talking about liver, which is secreting bile, juice, and there is pancreas, which is secreting what? Pancreatic juice, right? Now bile juice is basically responsible for the emulsification of the what? Of fat molecules, so that bigger fat molecules convert into smaller absorbable form. And here pancreatic juice is secreting what? Trypsinogen, which only gets activated when there is an alkaline medium. So not only is this doing emulsification of fat, but also creating alkaline medium. Now this will work on this one and convert it into trypsin. Now this activated trypsin will activate all other enzymes found in the pancreatic juice, like procarboxy peptidase, then there is chymotrypsinogen. So what's happening here? This pro will get move from here, and this zen will move from here. Once the trypsinogen is in the active form, that is trypsin, then procarboxypeptidase will convert into carboxypeptidase, and chymotrypsinogen will convert into chymotrypsin. Now these two enzymes will work on the protein and break it down. Not only this is released by pancreatic juice, they also release amylase, lipase, and other enzymes. So these all basically help in the digestion of food, the nutrients, the broken down nutrients coming in the duodenum, right? Now we have moved to, now we already have entered the small intestine as the first part, duodenum. Now we are entering into the next part, jejunum, where the next set of enzymes come out, and that juice of enzyme which is in the small intestine is known as, I am just writing small intestine, that is known as succus entericus, or simply intestinal juice. Now this intestinal juice finally breaks down all the leftovers, all the broken down material into final form which can be absorbed by the body, right? And not only produces this one, there are goblet cells which are also producing mucus. So the enzymes in the intestinal juice and the mucus both are finally helping in the lubrication and final digestion of the food, so that it can be finally absorbed by the, absorption can be taken place by the villi, and the food nutrient can reach out to the cells and get assimilated, right? Now we are moving to the large intestine. What happens over there? Large intestine mainly has two roles. What are the two roles? First, absorption of water and secretion of mucus for the lubrication, so that the unwanted material can easily move out through the large intestine. So excess of water is being absorbed from here and secretion of mucus takes place over here. So this is about digestion process in different parts of the body. We'll just talk about the equations of it now before starting the equations, before starting the absorption, right? So first, in the mouth, what happened? The starch got broken down into disaccharides, that is in the form of, with the help of amylase enzyme, right? Salivary amylase enzyme. Then fats also are here broken down into fatty monoglycerides, some of the fats, right? Here also starch only 30%. So some of the fat with the help of lipase, right? Then the nucleic acid also gets broken down here. Now this is about some of the fats, right? Now the food has moved to stomach. Now here what is happening in stomach? The protein gets converted into, with the help of pepsin, gets converted into proteose plus peptones, right? Now in the pancreas, what's happening? The proteose plus peptone plus some of the other protein which is left over get worked upon by the chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidase, which got activated with the help of trypsin. So chymotrypsinogen and carboxypeptidase, I am writing CT for chymotrypsin and CP is for carboxypeptidase, and convert them into dipeptide, much smaller form, right? So just assume this is this much big form, and now they have broken them down into this big form, right? And there are, pancreas is also secreting lipase and amylase. So we know what is the role of amylase. Amylase will convert the polysaccharides into other polysaccharides into disaccharides, and fats will convert. The same thing will be taking place here also, because there is secretion of lipase and amylase, pancreatic amylase as well. Even here one more thing is being secreted, and that is nuclease. Now nucleic acids are found in each and every cell. So these nucleic acids, which are in the form of DNA or RNA, they get worked upon by nuclease and get converted into first nucleotides, that is the phosphate sugar plus base, nitrogen base plus phosphate plus nitrogen base plus sugar, and then gets worked upon further to convert into nucleoside, which is which is base, nitrogen base plus sugar. So phosphate also get removed. So this is what happening in the from the pancreatic juice, right? So bile and lipase has converted. Bile is also converting fats into fatty acids, diglycerides, and finally monoglycerides. And here all these breaking down is taking place. Now we are moving to the small intestine, where the final digestion will take place. That is, they will be finally converted into form that can be absorbed by the body. So now in the small intestine, because that is the place where the absorption will take place, and if the nutrients are not in the absorbable form, then it's going to be wasted. So now what will happen here? The dipeptide coming will be worked upon and will get converted into amino acids by the help of dipeptidase, right? Then there is maltose or disaccharides which are coming. They get converted with the help of maltase into glucose, right? The lactose which is coming will be worked upon and get converted into by lactase into glucose plus galactose. I've written short form glucose and galactose, right? Then we saw nucleosides. So they will be worked upon by nucleosidase and get converted into nitrogenous base plus sugar, ribose sugar. And the di and monoglyceride, which is coming from previous digestion of fats, they will also get converted into, with the help of lipase, they will also get converted into fatty acids, much smaller form, and glycerol, right? So this is what is happening inside the small intestine, and finally they are broken down into such form that can be absorbed by the villi easily, right? So this is what takes place happens in the digestion process. Now finally coming to the absorption. Now absorption we will study about in the next video. Thank you.